Confession has so many positive fruits that we should have recourse to it frequently. And the popes have really recommended that we have recourse to this great sacrament frequently. What are some of the fruits that come as a result of sacramental confession? First, if we've committed a mortal sin and we lost God's friendship, then we have restored God's friendship because of confession. That means also we're restored to sanctifying grace. Sanctifying grace is friendship with God. Second fruit would be we grow in the virtue of humility. Very hard for us to admit that we make mistakes. Confession is the moment of truth, when you come to terms with the reality that we do sin. We entered into this world as sinners, and we struggle with sin all of our lives. But by humbly admitting in confession our sin, we grow in the virtue of humility, which is so pleasing to God. Third fruit is, because of the increase of sanctifying grace, then we have renewed strength to be able to fight against our basic weakness, our basic sin. Another fruit would be preventive medicine. Because we've been healed and strengthened, when the temptation comes, we are fortified to the point that we can resist the temptation with greater strength. Another positive fruit is that confession purifies our soul of sin, and our soul is like a window pane. The analogy I give is the window pane that is dirtied because of the dust. It has to be sprayed with Windex. Once that window is cleansed of the dirt, then the light of the sun can enter in all the more powerfully. We can say the same thing about our soul. Our soul being a window pane, when the precious blood of Christ purifies our window pane clean, then when we receive Holy Communion, the communions we receive are going to be much more efficacious. Because the purer the soul, the more willing will Christ come into your soul and fill it with His light and His grace. Another positive fruit of confession is it puts the devil at bay. The devil is always out there to tempt us, but when he sees us cloaked with the blood of Christ, he retreats from us. Another fruit is we grow in self-knowledge. The Desert Fathers have an axiom, and it is an axiom of two words: know thyself. One of the reasons why we fall into sin is because we're ignorant of our own weakness. So confession brings to light our kryptonite, our weakness, our bad tendency, and we're able to work on it and to be able to use preventive medicine so that we don't fall again. Another fruit would be the following: talking to the priest who represents Christ about our sin, we can receive invaluable advice that can help us to fall into future sins. He who does not know history is condemned to repeat the same errors. This can be applied to our spiritual life. We don't know ourselves well. We're much more inclined to fall into the traps that are before us. Another fruit of frequent confession is that we are experience within our souls a great peace. And this peace we'll be radiating to others. And with this peace, another fruit will be our prayer life will be enhanced. Because one of the conditions to pray well is that we have to obtain great peace of heart, of mind and soul. So the fruits of confession are so abundant, let us have frequent recourse to the sacrament of God's love and forgiveness. Amen.